Nobody saw this coming. One night in Cardiff, a crowd gathered for what should have been a historic, feel-good grand national tour stop with Kendrick Lamar and Sza. But by the end, fans were in tears, the media was in meltdown, and the city itself was buzzing with political tension nobody could ignore. It all started with one electrifying performance beats shaking the stadium. Sza's voice soaring over the crowd.
Talk, like SZA, like boss, like Solana, I promise, more buzz, it's a boss, it's a crater, or a spaceship.
Kendrick in full command. But then, out of nowhere, a series of shocking political chants erupted from the stands, echoing through the arena and catching both artists completely off guard. Within seconds, the energy turned wild. Some fans joined the chants. Others looked stunned. Security scrambled, and the live stream chat exploded with disbelief. Twitter and TikTok lit up with clips Kendrick pausing, Sza looking emotional, both clearly shaken as controversy rippled through the audience. Were these chants a protest, a rallying cry, or something even bigger? Did Kendrick and Sza know it was coming, or were they victims of a setup that turned a concert into a battleground? The whole world is asking what really happened in Cardiff, and did it just change the game for music and politics forever? Cardiff had never seen anything like it. For weeks, the Grand National Tour posters covered every bus stop, pub, and digital billboard. People camped outside the arena for days. Tickets were sold out in minutes, and local radio stations played Kendrick and Sza's hits on loop hype key intensity itni thi, key pura city fever main tha. Even news anchors called it the most anticipated music night in Cardiff's history. But this wasn't just any concert. It was the merging of two legends at the absolute height of their powers. Kendrick Lamar, not just for his lyrical genius and genre-shaping albums, but for speaking truth to power, never shying away from controversy. A poet of the people, but also a lightning rod for political fire. And Sza's, the voice of raw heartbreak, hope, and rebellion, breaking records, smashing expectations, and carving out her own legacy as an artist unafraid to get real. Fans knew these two together meant something special, but nobody knew just how special War Explosive was about to get. The weeks leading up to the Cardiff show were already buzzing with tension. British tabloids ran stories about Kendrick's past political statements, digging up every lyric that ever made the establishment nervous. Sza's and politicians gave interviews, some praising the artists for waking up a generation, others warning the show could invite division to an already polarized city. On social media, fans debated, are Kendrick and Sza gonna make a statement in Wales? Or will it be all music, no message? Backstage, insiders reported a mix of excitement and nerves. Soundcheck went late as Kendrick demanded no slip-ups, no surprises. Sza requested extra time alone before Showtime rumors flew that she'd received mysterious BIMs about unrest in the crowd. The security team was briefed 3 times. Be ready for political agitation. Watch for coordinated signs. Or chants, and be prepared to act fast. But no amount of preparation could match the sheer energy outside. Fans lined up wearing homemade shirts, some quoting Kendrick's most defiant bars, others painted with slogans from recent protest movements. Sza stands draped the Welsh flag over their shoulders, blending pop culture with a sense of local pride and resistance. As Showtime hit, the atmosphere was electric. The stadium pulsed as Sza opened, her set full of emotion, crowds singing every word, phones waving like stars in the dark. When Kendrick took the stage, the roar was deafening. He smiled, nodded, and, for a moment, everything was just music, love, and unity. But just beneath the surface, Cardiff was a city simmering. In the weeks before the concert, there had been Heated debates over social justice, funding cuts, and a recent string of protests that had rocked local government. Kendrick and Desis's team knew they weren't just walking into a music gig, they were stepping onto a political stage, whether they wanted to or not. Rumors had swirled that something big might happen during the show. A few cryptic tweets from well-followed activists hinted, "Tonight, the world will hear Cardiff." The local police quietly added extra patrols, worried that music, politics, and passion could ignite into chaos. Still, nothing could have prepared anyone for what would unfold. Insiders say both artists had an unspoken agreement: address the crowd, thank the city, but steer clear of anything that might pour fuel on the fire. But the crowd had other plans. Word spread backstage that someone had seen protest banners being snuck and security confiscated a few, but not all. Tensions were rising, but both Kendrick and Sza were determined. Let's give them a night to remember, for the right reasons. Yet, as the lights dimmed and the main set began, the energy shifted. Something was brewing. Something nobody, not even two of the boldest artists in the world, could control. And so, as the first chant rang out, echoing off the stadium walls, both Kendrick and Sza were forced into the center of a storm that was bigger than music, bigger than even their own iconic reputations. Little did anyone know, what happened next would turn a legendary concert into a headline-making, history-shaping moment the whole world would argue about for weeks. The stadium lights faded. The beat dropped, and for a few seconds, Cardiff felt like it was floating a perfect night. Sza's voice soared. Kendrick stalked the stage. The crowd seemed united, holding their breath in anticipation of that once-in-a-lifetime energy. But just as Kendrick transitioned into his anthem All Right, a low rumble started. From the upper rows, at first, nobody paid attention. It sounded like a random shout. But within seconds, it became unmistakable. A coordinated chant, raw and angry, echoing across the arena walls. Justice for the people. Justice for the people. Again and again, louder each time. The words bounced off steel beams and poured onto the stage. Security's radios crackled. Production crew exchanged frantic looks backstage. Kendrick paused mid-verse, eyes darting to the sound booth. Sza, who was meant to join him for the next verse, stood frozen, her mic trembling slightly in her hand. On the jumbotron, the camera caught her eyes wide with disbelief, her lips parting as she mouthed, "What's happening?" At first, it seemed like only a pocket of fans were involved. But, as so often happens when emotion takes over, the chant spread like wildfire. Within moments, half the stadium was shouting, some pumping fists, others simply looking around in confusion, trying to figure out if they should join or stay silent. The sound was overwhelming, like Cardiff itself had decided to rise up and use Kendrick's concert as its stage. The live feed comments went insane. What is going on in Cardiff? Is this a protest or a concert? Kendrick looks shook. Sza is about to cry. Bro. Backstage, managers scrambled. Security debated shutting the show down. Kendrick made a split-second decision. He raised his hands, signaling for quiet. The beat faded. The lights dimmed. Cardiff held its breath. Into the hush, Kendrick spoke, his voice raw and steady. "We came here for music, for love, for unity." For a heartbeat, it seemed the crowd might calm. But the chants returned, morphing and multiplying. Now some were political, others personal. End the cuts. Fund our schools. No more lies. The arena was a storm of demands, raw, honest, and impossible to ignore. That's when the first major twist hit. Up on the jumbotron, a giant banner suddenly appeared, as if out of nowhere. Kendrick say their names. Fans gasped. Hush. Sza's hand flew to her mouth. Kendrick froze, his mask of calm cracking for the first time. This wasn't just a protest, it was a direct demand for Kendrick to join the movement right then, right there, live on stage and in front of millions. A split-second camera cut caught a row of fans holding up photos of victims from recent political unrest names that had become hashtags. Tragedies that sparked marches across the UK. Social media exploded. They're forcing Kendrick to take a side on air. Sza looks terrified. This isn't fair on the artists. Is this a setup? Who planned this? Backstage, panic peaked. Kendrick's manager was on the phone with legal. Sza's team debated pulling her off the stage. Even the venue's head of security was torn call in the police or trust the artist to handle the storm. But the next move shocked everyone. Kendrick, after a moment's hesitation, stepped up to the mic, hands trembling, but voice unwavering. "I know why you're here. I know what you want, and I promise I will never stop fighting for justice. But let's do it together. Right now, let's take a moment of silence for every life lost to injustice, here and everywhere. Cardiff, this is your moment, our moment." The stadium fell eerily quiet, tens of thousands, silent, united in grief and hope. Sza gripped Kendrick's hand, tears streaming down her face. For that moment, the controversy became something almost beautiful: pain and protest. Heartbreak and hope, all in one breath. But just as it seemed the night would end on unity, the second shock of the night hit. From the wings, security rushed toward the stage. Someone had breached the barrier. Waving a flag with a message in bold red letters, "Music won't save you, Saction will." Cameras caught the chaos, fans screamed, and in the confusion, someone handed Kendrick a note. He opened it, his face going pale as he read. Without a word, he handed it to Sza. Her reaction said it all. Jaw dropped, hands shaking, she backed away from the spotlight. No one in the crowd knew what the note said. But in that instant, you could feel the entire stadium teeter on the edge of something bigger, something nobody, not even the stars on stage, could control. The feed cut to black. The world waited, breathless, desperate to know what was on that note. Who planned this? And was this Cardiff show a warning for artists everywhere? Because the real drama had only just begun as the feed cut out and social media exploded with theories. Cardiff was no longer just a city, it had become the battleground for a culture war. Clips of the protest, Chants, the banner, and Kendrick's pale face holding that mysterious note spread across TikTok and Twitter like wildfire. Within minutes, hashtags like #CardiffChants, #KendrickExposed, and #SZA in tears trended in the UK, US, and beyond. But the real drama began backstage, away from the cameras. Insiders started leaking WhatsApp screenshots, some real, some clearly doctored, but all too juicy to ignore. One message, allegedly from a tour assistant, claimed SZA is refusing to go back on stage. She said someone threatened her in the crowd, security's panicking. Another leak, this time a blurry photo from a crew member's phone, showed Kendrick sitting in his dressing room, head in hands, surrounded by nervous managers and 2 uniformed police officers. People were quick to speculate. Was Kendrick being interrogated? Is Sza really scared for her life? Did the note say something about the government, or was it personal? And then, the most viral twist of the night. A Twitter thread from a Cardiff journalist claiming to have seen the note Kendrick received. The thread blew up instantly. Breaking source inside the stadium says the note to Kendrick was handwritten. The message: "Your music woke us up. Now, help us fight. If you walk away, you're part of the problem." Security team says the flag waver, who got on stage, wasn't working alone. At least 5 other fans were caught with matching notes and protest banners. SZA reportedly begged her manager to end the show early. She was worried it would turn violent. As if that wasn't enough, a private Instagram account leaked a screen recording of Sza's voice message to her inner circle. "I want to stand with them. but not like this. This isn't safe for anyone. Kendrick's freaking out. We didn't sign up for a revolution. We just wanted to give them hope, not become their leaders. The world was eating up every leak. Some fans were furious. How dare people hijack the concert for politics? These artists owe us music, not activism. Others felt empowered. This is exactly why we needed Kendrick and Sza and Cardiff. Music is the only voice we have left. The industry, meanwhile, was in total chaos. Booking agencies released panicked statements. We support artists' right to perform in safety. All remaining UK tour dates are under review. Streaming platforms flooded Kendrick and Sza songs onto their homepage, hoping to ride the controversy to more streams, while also preparing crisis plans in case sponsors pulled out. Then another bombshell, a fake but highly convincing. Leaked emails, supposedly from Kendrick's labels, surfaced on Reddit. It read, "After Cardiff, all artists must avoid political statements on stage. Fans are on edge. Sponsors are threatening to pull millions if this escalates. If Kendrick or Sza address the incident, it must be scripted and pre-approved." The email was fake, but nobody cared. News outlets ran with it. Fans debated if it was real. Industry insiders posted cryptic tweets. Trust me, there's way more going on behind the scenes. The Cardiff incident was just the tip of the iceberg. Artists are done being mouthpieces for brands and politicians. You think this is the last protest? Wait till Paris. Meanwhile, another twist. A group of protest leaders released their own statement, tagging Kendrick and Sza on every platform. "You inspired us. We're not sorry for demanding more. If you choose silence, you're standing with the oppressors." Suddenly, #Silence's complicity was trending, and fans demanded Kendrick and Sza respond publicly. Not just backstage, but both artists stayed silent. Sza's last Insta story was a black heart. Kendrick posted a single word on X, "processing." Both were immediately dissected by fans and journalists alike. What did it mean? Were they scared? Planning something? Every move they made, every old interview, every song, lyric, everything was reinterpreted through the lens of Cardiff. The chaos kept spiraling. Fake DMs leaked between Kendrick and a politician, suggesting he'd known about the protest in advance. Other sources claimed Sza was considering canceling the rest of the tour. Even rumors of legal threats from venue owners started flying. And then, just when everyone thought it couldn't get any crazier, BBC News ran an emergency panel, pulling in music experts, politicians, and local activists for a live debate. Was Kendrick Lamar's Cardiff show a protest, a PR disaster, or the beginning of a cultural revolution? One panelist declared, "Tonight proves music and politics are forever linked." Kendrick and Sza didn't start this fire, but now they're standing right in the middle of it. The audience, called in by the hundreds, split between those blaming the artists for letting things get out of hand, and those defending them as unwilling heroes forced into the spotlight. And just when the debate reached fever pitch, the Cardiff venue itself issued a statement in light of recent events. "We are reviewing safety protocols for all upcoming shows. We stand with artists and fans and condemn any action that puts anyone at risk." The cliffhanger? As the world argued, a shadowy Telegram account began dropping new hints. Someone on the inside filmed the real conversation backstage. The tape exists. Are you ready for the truth? Everyone held their breath, refreshing, waiting for the tape, desperate to know what really happened backstage. And were Kendrick and Sza still safe? By sunrise, the Cardiff scandal had stopped being a concert controversy and turned into a fans divided into camps overnight. Kendrick and Sza inspired a revolution. They should be proud. The show was hijacked, man. Artists aren't your politicians. Sza was terrified. Why push these stars into the middle? Of this is what real music does. Wakes up the world, whether the artists want it or not. Reddit threads exploded with backstage theories. TikTokers stitched together bootleg concert clips with angry rants and emotional edits. One viral video showed a Cardiff fan breaking down. "We came for music and got a piece of history. My heart's pounding, I don't know if I'm proud or scared." Meanwhile, YouTube drama channels went wild, pumping out hour-long breakdown videos. 10 signs Kendrick knew about the protest, SZA's hidden message, T-coded. Why Cardiff may have ended arena tours forever, every hour. New leaks surfaced. Fake celebrity deem circulated, some from Drake, warning Kendrick not to take sides. Others from Lizzo supporting SZA for her vulnerability. Industry insiders jumped on the story. If this happened in Cardiff, what's going to happen when the tour hits Paris or Berlin? Streaming numbers are skyrocketing, but sponsors are panicking. Nobody wants to touch a scandal this big. Music industry's response: absolutely split down the middle. One streaming service released a playlist titled Voices for Justice featuring Kendrick Sza and protest anthems, captioning, "Music changes the world. Stand with artists, stand with truth." Another platform quietly moved Kendrick and SZA off their front page, trying not to scare off advertisers. Record label execs huddled in late-night meetings, debating crisis PR strategies. Do we back our artists or distance ourselves? What's the insurance liability if there are more protests? Is it time to pull the plug on live tours? Other artists began to weigh in. Stormzy Cardiff, "You made history last night. Respect to Kendrick." And SSC for standing in the fire. Dua Lipa, sending love to everyone shaken by last night. Music is healing, but artists are human. Let's protect both. Dave, change doesn't happen quietly. Proud of everyone speaking up even when it's scary. But not everyone was supportive. Some older stars slammed the chaos. Morrissey: "If you want to protest, do it in the street, not at someone else's concert." Noel Gallagher: "Cardiff was a shambles. Leave the artists alone and let them play." Fan clubs fractured. Some fans made new banners. Kendrick for president. Others started "Let Artists Breathe" campaigns, arguing that musicians were being used as pawns in someone else's fight. Meanwhile, journalists started digging deeper. Was the Cardiff protest spontaneous or organized? Who was behind the note? SZA really threatened or just overwhelmed? International reaction poured in. French newspapers called it the revolution that started in Wales. U.S. talk shows debated, are artists responsible for their fans' activism? Even the UN's Human Rights Twitter posted, "When voices unite, change is possible. Artists and fans, stay safe and keep the dialogue open." The backlash hit hard. A major sponsor dropped out of the next tour date. Venues called for extraordinary security. Rumors swirled that a secret blacklist of high-risk concerts was circulating among Europe's biggest arenas. But the most shocking development came from within the industry itself. A leaked group chat supposedly from Top. Promoters showed plans to quietly cancel the next few shows unless Kendrick and SZA agreed to a no politics clause. The screenshot trended everywhere. "If they won't shut it down, we will." Kendrick and SZA stayed silent, but their teams hinted at a response coming soon. Sza's team posted, "Thank you, Cardiff. Your voices are heard. Your safety and ours comes first. We're processing with you." And Kendrick's official account finally broke silence with 3 words that went instantly viral. "History is watching." As the world held its breath, the message was clear. This was bigger than one concert. The entire future of music, protest, and pop culture was suddenly hanging in the balance. Just when the noise was about to settle and everyone thought the Cardiff controversy had peaked. the real earthquake hit. It started quietly, a midnight drop from an anonymous insider account, but within minutes, it had the entire internet on fire. A leaked audio recording muffled, but unmistakably real surfaced. In it, a top European tour executive was caught discussing the Cardiff scandal with another industry heavyweight. "We can't let them go on like this. Kendrick Lamar Sza steps on stage again without our script. We pull the funding." It's not just about this tour, it's about setting an example for everyone. Control the narrative or lose everything. The world froze. Fans replayed the audio on loop. Was this the proof everyone needed? That the industry itself wasn't just scared, it was ready to silence anyone who stepped out of line. Within an hour, news outlets picked it up, adding even more fuel to the blaze. Major venues scrambled to review safety, while activist groups across Europe began organizing their own protests, announcing, "If Kendrick and SZA are silenced, we'll make every show a protest zone." This is bigger than music now. Meanwhile, a mysterious email allegedly from Kendrick's inner circle was leaked to journalists. The message was short, but chilling. "We're being followed. Every meeting, every call. They don't want us to speak. But the world is watching. If something happens to